stay on doodle draw art, I'm going to show you how to draw a rose. We'll start off by making a simple U, and then from the left corner we're going to curve down to make a petal. Then we'll go up and curve down again for a second petal. And then we're going to make a third petal coming from the other side. To make the center of the flower, we're going to go up to make a cup shape. And it's just going to meet at the bottom. And then we'll draw a fourth petal and a fifth petal. To make the inside of the flower, we're going to draw a spiral from the top corner and then connect it across the back. That's it. We can refine our lines a little bit here, but essentially we've now completed all the steps. We'll just pull our lines just to make them a little bit more graceful or filled out. These will be all the lines that we trace as our final lines when we're completing our work. And then we can just erase any of the lines that we will not be tracing after, just to clean up your work a little bit. Looks good. So now at the bottom of the flower, there's some sepals down here that connect the petals to the stem. And then we'll have some thorns, if you want to add thorns to your rose, and some leaves. So a couple of thorns, and if you'd like to draw a rose leaf, it's just a simple eye-shaped leaf with little jagged edges. Now we'll do another one on this side. It's shaped like a teardrop or like an eye, and it just has some little gentle tooth-shaped jags. Alright, so that's it. You can have a pause here and check over your lines. And then I'm going to use colored marker to trace my rose. I'm going to use red for the flower section. And then I'm going to use green for the stem and leaf and thorn sections. So these lines will guide us when we're adding color, but now we can go ahead and erase all of our pencil marks and get ready for coloring. I'm going to paint this rose, so I'm just prepping my watercolors by getting them a bit wet. And I'm just using greens and reds. So I'm starting with my darkest red, and I'm just going to mark in the areas where I believe the shadows of the rose are going to be. So I'm going to put them down low in the curve and in behind the petals, along the shape, along the bottoms, along the edges, and inside. So these are the darkest part of my red flower. And now I'll switch to a brighter red and fill in all the area that's left. It's okay, in fact it's quite nice if your red color has variation in it. It doesn't need to be a solid red. You can have some lighter and some darker patches. Alright, so I filled in all of the red. It's covered the whole area. I'm just going to add a little bit of a pinkish red along here. I'm not sure if it's going to show up. I'll be able to tell more when it starts to dry. sometimes you can put lighter colors over darker colors and see them a little bit, or at least blend them. It's often good to put your lights first. So what I'm actually going to do is put a bit of white on my brush, and while it's still wet, I'm just going to blend it in to my red, just in the areas that there are highlights. So the highlights are opposite the shadows, so the highlights are along the top edges. This is what really helps our rose have a three-dimensional shape. So now I'll clean my brush really well, and I'm going to fill in with some green along the stem and leaves. So I'm just tracing along the lines that I've done with this nice dark green, and then I'm just going to wet my brush a little bit with water. And just smudge it around a little bit. This will fill it with color, but not too deeply. And I'll just blend this green from the stem out towards the leaves to vary the color a little bit more. And I'm going to just grab a little bit more paint here, just to give some more texture. So you can color this any way you like. I decided to use paint today because I want it to be very vibrant, and that's one thing about paint, is it does give a nice vibrant color. So now that I've got the darks of my green showing, I can tell that I can add some more dark red up here. It started to dry, and I want it to look even darker. So I'm just going to pull in some more dark shadows in my rose. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me draw and paint this rose today. As you can see, it's very easy to do, just a few simple lines, and then experimenting with your paint or your color pencils or your crayons, you can give it a beautiful, lifelike quality. And every flower is different, so yours will look different than mine, but it will be beautiful. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and if you are on Instagram or Tumblr or Facebook or Pinterest, you can find me on any of those spots as well. Thanks for watching.